and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the MrWarrenHayes Show. I, of course, am Mr. Warren Hayes, and this is the Thursday night show where we sit around, get together around the fireplace, and we talk about professional wrestling for, I don't know. Last week I did it for 3 hours. Who knows what's going on in my brain? I don't know. You're asking me how things work? My God, people. Look, regardless, let's not live in the past, right? The past is someplace else. It is no longer with us. We'll move forward, and we have to move forward because tonight, folks, is the last Mr. Warren Hayes show of 2021. January 30th, 2021. We're a few hours away from ringing in a brand new year. And I hope you guys are excited about ringing in a brand new year. Because I know I am. I don't know why exactly. But, look, I know why. I'm not going to try. Like, the new year always comes with a feeling of, a good sentiment of renewal, right? It's we all start off a new year. I'd say, look, I don't want to create too many generalizations here, but we do, start off the new year with, hope, sense of renewal, sense of, hey, let's try something new. Couldn't be worse than last year, and I think that's important. And I think it's a good feeling to have. And you shouldn't minimize those feelings. You shouldn't be like, poo-poo, It's not a new year, new me kind of thing. It's really just like a moment where you're like, okay, let's get our shit together and move forward. And I think it's a good feeling to have. And I'm glad you guys are here tonight to finish off this year with me right here on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes, recording live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. I'm excited to close off the year with all of y'all. And who is this all of y'all? Robert Larry in the live chat joining us, because we have an active, dynamic, super fun live chat every Thursday. Robert Larry's here. How you doing, Robert? Kelly Tonjes, nice to see you as well, Kelly. Who else we got? We got Mr. Fritz, who's here as well. Nice to see you, Heather. Nice to see you too. All the early birds are here. We've got Ben, aka Phantomark82. Follow Ben. Look, I am not going to ask much of you viewing fan base, listener fan base, if you want to call yourselves fans of what I do. Let's say well-wishers and people who feel obligated to listen to me. How about that? I'm not going to ask much of you, but in the new year 2022, you are going to subscribe to youtube.com/Phantomark82. Our boy Ben provides the music for the pre-rolls, and he is an awesome guy on top of that. So go follow his stuff now. It's a good way to start the new year, and Ben is fantastic, and I appreciate it. We've got Tim Traver, the Diecast Collective, who's here as well. Nice to see you, Tim. Mr. Fantastic is here too. DGMC, how you doing? Jermaine Presley, it's been a while, man. Good to see you. Welcome back. We got Matt Ritter, not, from Smacking It Raw, who's here. Nice to see you, my man. And yeah, a nice, fresh, full crowd of people joining us here live on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes. If you're already here and you're already enjoying it, you're already like, hey, Warren said my name. I don't know. Like the video. For real. The YouTube algorithm likes that stuff, loves that stuff. Go right ahead and like the video. You can also subscribe if this is your first time here. If you're not already, it's nice to, it's just good. It feels good. And speaking of subscriptions, I had set out a goal for myself, and I had tweeted it out a little bit. And I was looking forward. I wanted to hit 1,500 subscribers on my YouTube channel before the end of the year, and it happened today. And I am flabbergasted. Look, it was a goal I had set, and I'm happy to hit it. But it's like I say every time, I am so privileged and humbled that so many of you have subscribed to the channel. So many of you pop in, listen, watch. Anytime you do, trust me on this. Every time I know someone tunes in, listens, watches, it just hits me in a very sentimental place. The fact that anyone would like to take some of their time to allow me to invade that time that they have, and our time is so precious these days. It's so friggin' precious. It boggles my mind that you would want to spend it listening to me ramble about pro wrestling, and it's humbling every time. It doesn't get any more easier, like 1,500, not a big. No, it's always a big deal, and I really appreciate it, and thank you all so much, and for your subscriptions, your continued support. It honestly boggles my mind. I did not know. I honestly did not know that when I started doing this that I would get even remotely this far. But look at that. Here we are. Here we are. So there you go. So yeah, no, okay. I'm excited. I'm just all over the place. So thank you very much. So that's for YouTube. And listen, if you're listening to this on Spotify, and I don't know what's going on. But my numbers on Spotify are going up. There's like a little surge going on, and I'm cool with that. Did you know on Spotify you can listen as a podcast, but you can also watch the Mr. Warren Hayes show on Spotify? So if you're listening right now, you can go into your app, and I think it's on desktop and on mobile, but you can watch the Mr. Warren Hayes show podcast now. I have video up there as well, so that's also super cool. And I appreciate your support there. If you want to leave some reviews, you can leave some 5-star reviews, some likes there as well, subscriptions, whatever podcast platform you're listening on. I'm just saying, Spotify also. Joe Rogan can. Of course, Joe Rogan's gonna counter program me. I kind of figured that, the amount of success, like if I ever wanted to make it big in the podcasting realm, I just have to have people come around, hang around, and then, talk about recreational drug usage, and I'd be fine. That's how I should do it. Thank you all. Anyway, for your support and for listening and all of that. Hope you all had a wonderful holidays. A good Christmas. The holidays are not over. What am I talking about? But I hope you had a good Christmas, right? Gonna say hello to, look at that, Katie from the Shilite podcast, Shilite Showcase podcast. Get your act together. Nice to see you, Katie. I was on her show recently. She decided that she was going to interview me for like 60 million minutes. It was fun. I'm not saying that was, because, you guys know I talk. So she had me talking about shit. It was a good time. You should check it out. Subscribe to her channel. She's right there in the chat thing. Evan Wright. Nice to see you, Evan. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat as well. I'm having a lovely holiday. And I'm not going to lie. Having an absolutely lovely holidays. Christmas, very nice. My kids got me the video game Hades for Christmas, and the thing with Hades, right, is that they want you to start playing, but they don't. No one's given me any tips and tricks to stop playing, because my God, that game is great, and it's right up my alley too. It's like because it has roguelike elements, meaning that the levels are never really the same. So you're always going through like randomly generated rooms to get to the end boss, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's close to a perfect video game Because on top of that, the graphics are outstanding. The artwork is remarkable. The writing is funny, like just clever, funny, interesting. Lots of plot lines being thrown down. Voice acted from top to bottom. And I'm like, it just blows my mind how much of a quality game it is, on top of being fun as hell. And I see in the chat there are people who are familiar with Hades. By the way, Nathan Coley, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Some people are familiar with Hades, and that's fantastic. I've made it to the I've defeated the Bone Hydra. So the second the boss of Ashmofield. I am the second boss, Asphonil. I can't remember the name of the level. Asmodil. Anyway. But I got the second I defeated the second boss. And I've discovered, here's a pro tip. You want a pro tip? Here's a pro tip from a novice Hades player to beat the Bone Hydra. Try to get the Deadless Hammer upgrade so that your weapon will do extra damage to armor. That's what you need to do. You need to get, and then the Bone Hydra becomes a breeze. But of course, everything is randomly generated in Hades, so you might do runs where you just won't get it. But once you get like a plus 300% damage increase, Bone Hydra's a breeze. It's not spoilers. It's a pro tip. It's not spoilers. Vape Ross, Vape, good to see you, man. Welcome to the chat. Says that you got a cell phone holder that he's using as evidence to use the voice. What the hell? As long as it is, I'm glad you got a cell phone holder, because those things are useful in cars and whatnot, as opposed, as you all know by now, as opposed to a cell phone wallet, which is bullshit. I'm not ranting about that anymore. Not now. Anyway. But that was, it was good. I'm having a lovely holidays, lovely Christmas so far. Hope you guys are as well. So yeah, bell to bells, right? That's the other thing I want you to, that I always ask you to do. Visit belltobells.com, BELLTOBELLES.com. You know what Kristen Ashley, editor-in-chief of my heart, is working on right now? She is compiling the first ever Bell to Bells top 500 women's list of 2022. It is the first one, top 500. She has been working hard at it, and she said that she was going to be releasing it this weekend. So keep your peepers peeled on that, because it is pretty dope shit. And it's, coming up with lists, man, it's a lot more work than one thinks. You always have to keep in mind that some people are going to get really, really mad, and you have to have some basis to at least argue with them, despite the fact that the people who get really, really mad will not listen to reason regardless. But, But yeah, belltobells.com. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/belltobells. Look, there's tons of interviews. Yeah. I even have an interview with Mercedes Martinez, who I'm going to be talking about a little later. I spoke with Mercedes for 50 plus minutes just a couple of months ago. And if you want to find out what happened the first time around in AEW, why she didn't get signed after All Out 2019, she talks about it with me. She lays the dirt down and all sorts of great stuff. Go check it out. It's on the Bell to Bells YouTube channel, and a whole bunch of other great interviews as well. Fantastic people. And it's one of my pride, a point of pride for me this year. All the all the fantastic interviews that I got to do this year.
Yeah.
Just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind that all these people were okay talking with me. You know, because there's members of my family who don't even want that. Yes, I did talk to the Goblin Maid Saruga as well. And her partner, Banyana Aki. Wonderful people. Got to speak to them twice on top of that. Great people. Just fantastic. What else? Hey, tomorrow will be 1 day away from the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view. The first, apparently, of a new tradition they want to kick off, right? And I did a prediction show, recorded it earlier today with Matt Ritter, who is hopefully still in the chat of the Smack It Raw podcast. We recorded it earlier today. It's going to premiere tomorrow as a YouTube premiere, 12 p.m. right here on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes, or distributed as a podcast worldwide as of 12 noon tomorrow as well. So day 1 tomorrow, prediction show, preview. Matt and I break it down. It was a good time. As Matt said, he enjoyed coming on my show because as opposed to when he does his show, which is all, fart and dick jokes. And on my show, he was able to show that he knows a little bit about wrestling. There you go. His words, not mine. It was a good time. Excited for you guys to check that out. Tomorrow, make a note of it. Set a reminder. The premiere is all ready to go right now. We also have a Discord. Don't forget that. The Mr. Warren Hayes Show Discord. No, wait a second. Before I talk about the Discord, hang on. I've also got more streams coming up next week. I'm doing post shows for both nights of Wrestle Kingdom, nights 1 and 2. I'm doing post shows with our boy Mags all the way over in England. So we're going to be up like at 7 a.m., hitting the streams, recapping the shows. Super stoked to do that. Plus, I'll be doing a post show for the New Japan Noah show next Saturday, not tomorrow, in a week. With Kevin McElvany, editor-in-chief of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Goddamn, your boy, and between you and I, here's a little scoop here. I think I might do a prediction show Sunday if I can speak to the appropriate people to get that started. So I am overrun here with all sorts of stuff. Oh, fuck you, Evan. I am overrun with streams. I'm keeping busy, feeling good. Wrestling is amazing. Wrestling is going to be so great starting January. There's going to be so much great stuff. January is going to be fantastic. I love wrestling so much, and I hope you guys are going to be around to love it along. Discord, remember Discord? I was talking about that. We do have a Discord. Mr. Warren Hayes Discord. The link is in the description. The chat bot pops it up in the chat once in a while. Join us. It's a good time. Good people. A safe haven from the horrors of Twitter.com. You want to escape the Bird app and talk with sensible people with sensible opinions whom you might not agree with, but at least they're sensible. Come on over. Join the... And you know what? This weekend, this Sunday... the community is holding our Match of the Year watch along. So we are collecting suggestions from the community to build up a nice watch list. And we are all going to be sitting down. We're going to be streaming those matches in the Discord. Come and join us. You'll be able to watch it with us. It'll be good because there's already some great matches on there. I'm letting the community fill out their choices because I've got one match that I want to see, and if it doesn't show up, I'm adding it, as it stands right now. And yes, it is a Ty Conchi Discord. Ty Conchi approved of our Discord. That's it. That's another highlight of my year. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, you have to join the Discord to find out what we're talking about. Don't forget to join us on the post stream as well. Members only post stream. If you become a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, you get a nice little badge in the live chat. You get access to some emojis in the live chat. It's a good deal if you're a live chatter. Plus, on top of that, you can join us on the post stream, and I talk a lot with everyone. We take Discord calls, chat, the YouTube chat, the Discord chat, everyone chats, everyone's talking, having a good time. And tonight I want to hear your New Year's resolutions, your wrestling New Year's resolutions. I don't care about your, I have to eat better, and I have to call my mother more often than once a month. I don't care about those resolutions. I don't give a shit about them unless they are for your, your self improvement. Sure, then I can get behind those. But if it's, honestly, I want to know what your resolutions are for wrestling. Come and talk to me. Jeez, why won't anyone talk to me? No, I'm kidding. I create communities so people can talk to me because I don't know how to be social. I don't know how to talk to people. I have no friends. If I didn't have children, no one would talk to me on a daily basis. I'm laughing, but it's sad also. I'm kidding. Yeah, so join. All you have to do is become a member to come and join us, and it's a good time. It's always fun. It's the post streams are always a good time. Become a member and you show some support for the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, and that's fantastic. And you can also drop us some super chats. That's also a great way to show support for the show, and I will read your question, comment, thought, mood live and on the air. And we already got a couple of super chats. Thank you so much. Starting off with Vape Ross. Vape, thank you, man. Wishing me happy holidays. And you know what? I'm going to extend the happy holidays from the super chat to everyone listening, watching right now. Thank you very much, Ross. I appreciate it. Mr. Fretz left a super chat as well. Thank you so much. He said, I got Mox's book, best wrestling one in years. I will eventually. I'm about halfway through it, and it's amazing. And yet, what I think what makes it. I think what makes it even more amazing is how it's not ghost written, right? It's not like Mox with someone ghost writing, taking notes and then embellishing it. No, it's Mox. And he describes it at first, right? Sitting with Renee's laptop and just plugging at it and going clack, 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 clack. Like you can see Mox just going just typing whatever comes to mind. It's stream of consciousness. He doesn't give a fuck about punctuation and it is. I think that's what makes it so adorable. No, adorable is not the right word. So relatable, I guess, because it's so entirely Mox. It's fantastic. I really liked it. I'm halfway done, but it's a good gift you got there, Fritz. Good gift for any wrestling fan. I agree. Oh yeah, you guys are all fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm not, that was a bit. I'm not I don't want anyone to feel bad for me when I was saying I don't have friends. I have friends. I socialize plenty. And I talk about my kids. My kids aren't like 2 and 3. My kids are very, very grown up. They're fantastic. I have Kristen as well. I have good family relations. Like I'm not, it was a bit. I'm not, I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. But I do appreciate everyone coming out to hang out every Thursday. That's always fun. So let's get to this bitch, the weekly wrestling inspection. Hello. Let's kick it off. Let's start going by looking over here at the poll that I typically sometimes kick off the show, asking the Mr. Warren Hayes Show live chat, hey, what would you like me to start talking about tonight? 70% of the chat voted for me talking about Toni Storm. A semi-regular topic on the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, if you have a tendency to listen, generally, right? But Toni Storm is specifically in the news this week because, Fightful actually reported that she left. Toni Storm is gone from WWE. Dave Meltzer, a little later in the day, confirmed that she had quit. She was not released. she's gone from the company now that the story is starting to develop, starting to flesh out. There's reports hanging around out there. I'm fearful of crediting it because I'm not sure exactly who popped up with it first, but I did see that there's a lot of people who were just starting to report that Toni just picked up her bags and left. She was like, nah, you know what? I'm done with this. During the live event, she's like, yeah, you know what? Sayonara. I'm done, And this was a couple of days after we started hearing like weird reports that Toni was very confident about her time and that she's had some chats with Vince McMahon. And I'm like, oh, she's had chats with Vince McMahon and then she leaves. Okay. I can only fathom. I can only imagine, folks. Honestly. Anyway, Toni Storm no longer in WWE. So she's free. She's free to do whatever. We'll see what happens next for her. And this is just one of those that completely baffles me. This is one of these releases where I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand how WWE had a sure thing on their hands like Toni Storm and were able to fuck it up like they did. To me, this is a very Keith Lee-esque signing where you get someone who absolutely looks the part and acts the part. She looks like a star. She acts like a star. But somehow, in WWE's weird, infinite wisdom, right, is they manage to absolutely fuck it up. Bungle the entire thing. Toni, like I said, Toni Storm is a semi-regular topic here because whenever I have an opportunity to talk about Toni Storm, I will always, you guys know, I always bring it back to, I don't know what WWE has done to this woman to be a shadow of what she was on the independent circuit. Everywhere she went, every promoter she worked for, whether it was in Stardom, Progress, or any other, they knew how to book Toni Storm to make her come across as a star, and she was a star. Kris, she was a belt collector. She was holding like 3 or 4 championships at a time. You get it. You look at Toni Storm on the indies, tearing up Brit Rez, having fantastic matches in Stardom, fantastic matches with Io Shirai in Stardom. Not like, we're not talking bottom of the barrel, 16-year-old starting off in Stardom kind of thing. No. At the top of the card with the ace of the company, great matches that she's having. You look at this woman and you say, of course WWE's going to pick her up. She's amazing. And then when you look at her gimmick, the way she comes out, the swagger, the presence, that connection that she has with the audience, because there you go, another natural baby face you got on your hands. You look at her and you're like, this woman is fantastic. Of course, she's going to be a star in WWE. She has all the attributes they look for. Everything they look for. She has a great Mae Young Classic, wins that, and then it's all downhill from there. I covered NXT UK for a long time for Fightful. And the Toni Storm that was there had trouble getting a good match going. Her takeover matches weren't that great. She lacked energy. There's something that happened when she was asked to start working that style that just took it out of her. And it got worse when she was called up to main roster. absolutely absurd stuff. I'm telling you guys, it takes it takes talent. Okay, and because this is not, it's not a one-time thing that WWE does here. So I have to chalk it up to a talent to be able to get so many sure things, star-powered, infused wrestlers into your organization and screw them up. And screw up the sure things that you have. That's a talent. Keith Lee, Toni Storm, I don't get it. And of course, you know, the people who exclusively live within the WWE bubble will say, well, she sucked anyway. But that's not it. Especially when you are familiar with her work and the reasons that brought her to the dance in the first place. But Vince has to create everyone, right? Vince can't just take short things and be like, I'll put you on a pedestal. No, he has to create them, right? Can't just take them as is and put them there. He has to remodel them. He has to remake them. Like what? God forbid I stick up for Goldberg, but here we go. When Bill Goldberg was brought into WWE, right? Vince had, I'm gonna make you a star, baby. But he was already a star. Why was he a star? Because Goldberg ran in, he threw a couple of punches, spear, jackhammer, win, and he was out the door. That's what made Bill Goldberg a star. But Vince decided that he was going to wrestle 10, 12-minute matches. Of course, you're going to ruin Bill Goldberg because Bill Goldberg can't work a 10-minute match. He can't. He never could, never will. And when I use this argument, a lot of times I'll have people go, well, Vince didn't change AJ Styles. Right, the one person, right? You go back to the one exception. The one guy that you're like, yeah, you're right. But everyone else, Vince is, I got to recreate, I got to retool. Hell, he was even doing it within his own company. He'd get Karrion Kross brought up from NXT and he's like, no, we're gonna do shit with him. You know, it's Kyle from the Apron Bump. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. And also, wait, I saw someone else. Chris Jacobs, nice to see you, sir. Welcome as well. But doesn't that baffle? And it's baffling. And then, and then respectfully, I had someone on Twitter I had a discussion as opposed to an argument. That's fresh in and about itself. But someone wrote to me on Twitter when I was talking about Toni Storm and said, why is the narrative always about releases always framed as WWE not knowing what to do with talent? Isn't it also possible that they knew what they wanted from her, in this case, Toni Storm, right? But she either couldn't or wouldn't do it. She has a good look, can work, but there was little depth to her character. And I'm like, there you go. There was little depth to her character, but ultimately, what does that mean in pro wrestling? Like, there's only in WWE where depth of character is supposed to mean something. It's like as if Seth Rollins' character has, so many layers that he's, he's a fucking character in Othello, in Shakespeare's Othello. And you're like, oh yeah, let's peel back and examine, Iago's motivations here. It's like, it's fucking wrestling, depth of character. What you want is someone who will come to the ring, cut a promo, sure, I'm always for that, but ultimately can work and can help you get excited about it. Depth of character. Like, I understand what that person said. I understand what they mean, and it's also baffling that even to this day, people are like, maybe she didn't want to do what WWE wanted them to do. It's like, it doesn't matter what Vince tells them to do. They go ahead and fucking do it. So Vince says, you're going to go get pie-faced. That's your angle. It's like, okay, Vince, then what? We'll see. Because there's no forward thinking. There's no planning. We know this. Vince tears up scripts. minutes before a live show. There has been instances of him rewriting Raw as the show is starting. There's like, we as, and I recognize this, as wrestling, what am I, pundit, whatever, analyst, whatever you want to call me, and people out on Twitter, all of us who like to talk about wrestling, we put more thought into WWE and how they do things than their boss does. We really do. So if Toni Storm gets some cream pies to the face and then loses a match and cries in the ring, how is that compelling? How is that interesting? Yeah, where I agree with the dude, with the person, where is the depth of character? Because there's nothing here. There's nothing to latch on to. There's nothing. When I think when people talk about depth of character in wrestling, it's just like, give me something that I can latch on to so I can believe in this person. I think that's what they mean. Especially in the case of a baby face. A baby face. Goes to prove once again my outstanding theory that WWE has no idea how to build a babyface anymore. They don't. And you know, I see people and contemporaries, some of my colleagues in the sphere who say, I don't understand. Toni Storm was in the middle of a push. She was not in the middle of a push. She's not in the middle of a push. That's not what a push is. Getting thrown, throwing pies for a couple of weeks, then heading to a ring to work a below a subpar match to only like end up crying in the ring. That's not a push, folks. That is not a push. A push is MJF. MJF, what he's getting is a push. Big E is a push. Those are pushes. Toni Storm was anything but. I don't understand. She was, and I don't understand why at this point we think that in WWE people are getting a push because they're put into a world title program, a title program. I don't understand why we think that's indicative of a push, because everyone gets their fucking turn, especially when it comes to the women. They all get their turn. So it's not a push. And here's something very interesting now. We've got on Raw, there are 11 women left on the roster, 8 on SmackDown. We are 4 weeks out before Royal Rumble. You currently have 19. No, that's even, there's 11 women on Raw, but Alexa Bliss is still out at this point. That's 10. So we have 18 women to fill up a 30-person Royal Rumble. You're going to call up people from NXT? Of course you are. But there as well, it's pretty barren. Who are you going to call? Ghostbuster. You bring in Beth Phoenix? Okay, let's do that again, right? Otherwise, what? Mandy? Bring in Priscilla Kelly? Elektra Lopez? Like, who's interesting? Who's interesting from the NXT crew that you'd like to see up? Ivy, maybe? But you're going to bring in Daddy's Girl, who had her debut match on... Like, could you imagine being greener than her in a Royal Rumble? Her finisher's a flatliner. What's her name? I'm going to start banning people who start talking about Eva Marie, okay? She's dead to us now. Tiffany Stratton. There you go. Did you guys see that debut? The Tiffany Stratton debut on NXT confirms to me, absolutely 100% confirms to me, that NXT is essentially the AEW Dark of the main roster. Absolutely 100%. So there's nothing wrong with it. Again, it's not for me. It's just not for me. I am not, all that excited to see wrestlers who aren't ready for prime time as being... Look, let me start that back. I am not excited to watch a show where I see a bunch of wrestlers who are not ready for prime time while I'm being told that they're ready for prime time because it's a prime time show. Just saying. Want to say hi to Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling. Good to see you. And Pete Davies. Nice to see you. Pete talks about Io Shirai. Look, there's two people in all of WWE who I believe their booking has been impeccable since 2020. Bobby Lashley, which I think Bobby Lashley's booking in WWE has been close to perfect. Mid-card guy, destroying all the mid-card dudes, gets the mid-card title, doesn't officially lose the mid-card title, moves up to the heavyweights, gets the heavyweight belt. Fantastic. Not the heavyweights, the top tier, the main eventers. Sorry, not the heavyweights. And Io Shirai. Io has been, look, outside of losing matches and whatnot, she is the most consistent character in WWE. Io is not there to make friends. She doesn't give a shit. She wants to kick people's heads in. That's all she wants to do. When she was teaming with Zoe Stark, it was very clear. It was like, I don't like you. I still remember that promo where she cut. I don't remember. I think it was Raquel and whoever were the tag titles. Who had the tag titles at that point. She said, I don't like you. I don't like you. And then she turns to Toni Storm, and I don't like you. This is great. And everything she does is like, no, we need to win. Like Cora Jade at War Games when she was like, oh, my arm. Ooh, and she was dragging herself to get out of the cage. Io was like, nah, son, brings her back in, pops her. Like, that is consistent. It's fantastic stuff. Io is the best reason to watch NXT. And they can't even put her in a match for the women's title next week. Can you believe that? I watched the match, the main event of NXT 2.0 this week, which was Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez versus Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai. And the stipulation was that whichever team won would end up being a part of a triple threat next week to take on Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title. So I'm salivating at the mouth because I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai just going ballistic on each other. Who cares about Mandy? Mandy can sit out the entire match at this point. I don't give a shit. But seeing those two artistes of violence going after each other, let's do it, man. But no, they go with the absolute subpar edition here. Raquel and Cora Jade and Mandy Rose next week. That's so deflating. And the way that the way this match ended, Cora Jade and Raquel, they're in a team, right? They're in a team, and the team who wins goes to fight for the titles. Cora runs in, she covers, I don't know who, I don't remember which one, but she covers, and Raquel runs in to break up the pin, and I'm like, what is she doing? What the hell is she doing? And they start arguing for a pin. I'm like, you stupid people. Why are you doing this? And they eventually do get the win, right? Because Raquel tries to get the pin, but Cora does eventually get it. And Raquel is mad after. Then she gets angry. Now, if the person, I know we discussed this, if the person who was pinning the person on the other team was the sole individual going to the match next week, 100% get it. But Raquel is a dummy. And yes, we discussed it. I discussed it with Matt Ritter. And Matt was like, yeah, but it's all about ego. She wants to be the one to shine here. And I get that. But is Raquel dumb enough to completely flub an opportunity at winning the NXT women's title for that? Apparently she is. She's a big fat dummy. A big fat dummy. And Cora Jade acted like a big fat dummy in War Games. When I can't remember, was it JC Jane that was flat on her back in front of her, and then Cora had been sitting in a corner like for 5 minutes nursing her shoulder with ooh, and then she's like, oh wait, I could pin her, and then she looks to her left, looks to her right, she goes, oh. It's like as if she's never been in a wrestling ring before. Dummies. I think they deserve each other. Dummies. Anyway, Toni Storm, she will get back on her feet. This means nothing, and I hope she goes and she tears it up like she's supposed to. I hope she does. Anakin JMT is here. Nice to see you, Anakin. He also left us a super chat. Thank you very much, Anakin. This is what he says. He says, putting together a prayer circle for Toni to take the Indies by storm and win the Ring of Honor Women's title and be an anchor for the relaunched Ring of Honor if it returns. Brother, pal, chum. At this point, I understand the sentiment, but Ring of Honor right now, no one has any idea what is going on. Hell, they're announcing Jonathan Gresham and Bandito are working matches on the Indies, both claiming to be the Ring of Honor World Champion. So like right now, I don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on? I'm still convinced, 100% convinced, that Ring of Honor is going to go to a pay-per-view style production moving forward, once a month, whatever. They're gonna go like GCW and all the rest. Pay-per-view, maybe a streaming subscription, something like that, but no more network TV, no more weekly programming, and I think that's what they're going to do moving forward. But it's definitely not going to be what it is right now. If it does come back. No, I don't like to say this all, I'm never hang on. Let me phrase that properly. My instinct when people get released isn't like, Tony Khan's got to pick them up. There's a lot of people that's instantly, it's like, oh, go to AEW. And that's not necessarily my instinct for everyone. I think there are people who do benefit and should be there and so on and so forth. And I think Toni Storm is one of those people. I think Toni Storm should go to AEW. She should join up. Especially after what happened last night on Dynamite. I think there is momentum. You guys know how much momentum in the women's division right now. And I think she'd be a welcome addition. Speaking of women in wrestling, I'm going to talk about the AEW stuff a little towards the end of the show. After I talk about Stardom Ryogoku Dream Queendom 2021, which happened December 29 in the middle of the night for us on the Eastern Seaboard. a breeze of a show to watch. 4 hours that really didn't feel like it. And despite the fact that I'm sitting there, it's middle of the night here and I'm, not struggling to stay awake, but there's always that fight. There's that combat where your body's like, hey brother, you should be in bed. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, no, I have not seen Utamin Shuri yet. Good show. I thought it was a breeze to watch. The top matches were outstanding. And I don't watch much Stardom, and that's not by, it's not meant to be a knock in any sense, in any shape or form. I try to watch some key matches. I've got my buddy JPQ, Big Paws on a Pup, who will be debuting, by the way, a Joshi podcast over on Pro Wrestling Illustrated in a couple of weeks. So that I'm excited for, and good to have him back in the podcasting realm as well. He often cues me on stuff and I go watch it, and so I far from me to say that I am the tantamount expert on Stardom, but these types of events, these types of matches, they're hard to miss. They're sort of must-see events, especially after the classic that Utami and Shuri put on earlier this year. It was a main event. They were main eventing this show as well, so yeah, I just leaned into it, and it was a lot of fun. It's work. You want your work rate, you got it here. That's just as simple as that. Let me get into it, talk about it a little bit, because I do believe it's worth a rewatch. I do believe it's worth anyone getting into and like, okay, I'm going to settle down, I'm going to watch some Stardom. Where should I start? I think this is an excellent starting point. The first match officially on the card, because I missed the pre-show, unfortunately. No, I didn't miss the pre-show. No, sorry. It was Fukigen Death defeating Lady C, Rina, and Saki Kashima, and Waka Tsukiyama. Waka, who did good things she lost because no, not good things she lost, because she provided English color commentary. Anyway, that was a pre-show. Fine little match. It was pre-show, curtain jerker, get us warmed up. That's fine. Future of Stardom Championship. So these are like it's the championship for the rookies, essentially, the very, very young up and comers in Stardom. Hanan defeated Raka to win the title, and new hashtag and new fun little opener there as well. Artist of Stardom Championship, basically the trios title. The trio of Himeka, Maika, and Natsupoi of Donna Del Mondo defeating the trio of Cosmic Angels, Mei Sakurai, Mina, and Unagi Sayaka. I thought this was a lot of fun. It was really cool. Match ended with Maika Michinoku driving everyone on the other side, like one after another. One Michinoku driver, two Michinoku driver, three, and she pinned. Trained by Taka Michinoku herself. Great stuff. That was absolutely great stuff. Great conclusion, great end. Fun match. Again, like, I like the show. I think that one of the best qualities of the show was how it was paced. Or the opening matches were fun. They were, appetizers, getting you into the mood, good stuff, and then you start getting into the real nitty gritty, and you're going, oh, all right, this is so good here. The High Speed Championship, the champion Starlight Kid successfully defended her title against Izumi and Koguma. Very good match. I thought, again, like, this is the high speed match, so the action is fast and furious, but Starlight Kid retains. She's the only member of Odeyo Tai right now who has a title. She's the only one now that, all that's out of the way. And establishing her presence, her dominance, leadership to a certain degree, but now Momo's in there too. I mean, look at what we're going to talk about it in a bit, but it is. Starlight Kid is such an entertaining wrestler every time she gets in the ring. Always fantastic stuff. I loved it. I thought this was a really fun match to set us up for one of the first big anticipated matches of the night. Konami's farewell match where she took on Julia. This was this was actually Julia's return to Stardom after suffering a neck. Was it a neck injury? I don't remember. Look, don't quote me, but she did suffer an injury. She was out for a number of months, and Konami had announced that she was taking a hiatus from pro wrestling a few months ago, and this was going to be her final match. So this match here was special because in 2020, these two had matches over the Wonder of Stardom title, and it was and Julia's first feud in Stardom was with Konami's then faction partner Hana Kimura in Tokyo Cyber Squad. So there was all these moving parts here that sort of made this match come together and coalesce. And my God, they just like, it starts off, respect, and Julia has a nice banner with signatures from all the Stardom staff, the talent to give to Konami, and like you feel like it's already emotional. Konami's already crying, but the bell rings and they just start slugging at each other straight off the bat. And Julia struggled throughout this match as Konami was constantly locking her up into holds. Julia was always in position, to break out of the holes, but it was a struggle. Like, you can't say that this was Julia like wiping the mat or competitive. No, Julia had a hard time in this one. There were multiple homages to the late Hana Kimura as well. For instance, Konami went for the missile dropkick, followed by the Tiger Lily package pile driver, which was a combo, a setup for Hana. Julia hits a stalling Falcon Arrow and then a glorious driver for the win. At this point, watching this match here, I was like, damn, this rules. This was a great match. This was absolutely great. And I was like, whoo, the bar is high now. Like, just because this match really, really ruled. Emotional, lots of callbacks, and just some good, solid work from both women here. And I was like, ooh, will it get better? Hot damn. The next match we had was a match that was part of Stardom's 10th anniversary celebrations. We had Mayu and Takumi Iroha, who defeated the Odeyo Tai team of Momo Watanabe and Hazuki. And this was basically a celebration where they're putting in 4 of the best, like, Stardom produced stars, I guess, in one match here. Iroha, no longer with Stardom. She wrestles for Marvelous now. Hazuki, a lot of people consider her to be like on course to be a superstar, but she retired in 2019. Watanabe had a record-breaking run as Wonder of Stardom champion. And Iwatani, Mayu is Mayu. She's the icon of Stardom. She's the transcendent ace of the company. Hazuki wasn't in Odeyo Tai. Excuse me. My bad. My poor note taking on my part. Hazuki not in Odeyo Tai. Apologies. Little wrinkle into this match here is that Momo just had a heel turn. Decided to go completely heel, and I'm talking like, just walked out of a Hot Topic heel, where she's got the pitch black hair, she's all angsty and moody, she's got the hoodie covering her eyes, and you're like, she really looks like an angst-filled teen, and I kind of dug it because it was so over the top. It was nuts, and because she acts like she's an angsty teen. It's fantastic. Iroha got some great strikes in this match. Hazuki has a fantastic snap suplex. Holy shit. Pulled one off at some point. It's like, ooh! Like, you know when you're playing video games at poor frame rate? That's kind of what it looked like. It's like she was there and then suddenly she's dropping the other fool on her back. It's like, wow, okay. There was a fun Mayu spot where Iroha whips Hazuki into the ropes and Mayu grabs Hazuki, sort of like, I'm going to keep you here. But Iroha already had a jump planned, so Iroha jumps, like completely whiffs the jump because Mayu misread or wanted to do something nice, like hold on to their opponent so Iroha could come in and strike or whatever. A very Mayu thing to do. She was tripping all over the the equipment heading back after. Yeah, it's all very, very Mayu stuff. Hazuki does a great dive. There's a brainbuster by Mayu as well. Crucifix bomb by Mayu and a moonsault gets the win. And Momo didn't do much because at some point she sort of retired herself from the match. She sort of, nah, I'm good. Because she's edgy. She's edgy. Angsty teens let the others fight. It was a fun time. It was a fun match. And here's the thing. So now we get to the, let's call them co-main events. Just for the sake of, because at this point, like I told you, the pacing of this card was just fantastic. You've got the first few matches, the Future of Stardom match, the Artist of Stardom, nice fun things. You get excited about it. The High Speed Championship, great stuff. Starlight Kid is a blast. Izumi's great too. Don't get me wrong. Then you get, and it sort of builds to Julia and Konami, which is just a great match. Then you get the 10-year anniversary match, which is sort of, just a little lighter, a little more fun, no real stakes, so on and so forth. So sort of, a nice buffer match, a lot of fun, good stuff happening. But then we get back into the serious shit here, where Saya Kamitani defeats Tam Nakano to become the new Wonder of Stardom champion. What a great fucking match this was. They had a fantastic feeling out period to begin with. Then Nakano locks in a hanging dragon sleeper in the corner, and then as she has it, she just dumps Saya onto the floor, followed by a great crossbody. Saya a little later on does a springboard splash to the floor, and like everyone's like checking on Nakano, and I myself, so many people like checking on her. Is she okay? And she was doing, either they were doing a real, even the ref was there. I was kind of worried. It's like, oh, okay, are we pulling the plug on this? No, she was fine. Trust me, she was fine, because not too long after that, Nakano was doing a Hurricane Rana off the apron kind of thing. So we're good. And I mean, just big moves, spectacular stuff. An Avalanche Poison Rana, Avalanche Butterfly Suplex. Nakano hits a Dragon Suplex and then the Twilight Dream into the bridge, which is, I think, is her finisher. But she overshoots it purposefully, like, so that Saya's legs fall into the ropes. So she's holding the bridge to get the count, but the referee's like, nah, feet in the ropes. And I'm like, fantastic shit. That was such a beautifully executed spot. Just great stuff. She hits her finisher, but she fucked up. And that was her mistake. Saya rolls into a schoolboy, transitions into a fisherman buster, and I think Waka was calling it a schoolboy suplex, which made me laugh. And she hits a Phoenix Splash for the win. Just a fantastic match. And something like on any other card, right? Had this been the main event of any other show, it'd be like, fantastic, great show, everyone, fantastic main event, let's go home. But no. We get the big rematch. We get the big fucking rematch here. That's right. We get Utami Hayashishita versus Shuri for the World of Stardom Championship and the SWA Undisputed World Women's Championship, which is currently held by Shuri. Both titles were on the line. The context here, of course, is that earlier this year, right? Hayashishita and Shuri just broke a barrier. Should we say that, as far as Joshi goes, where they had a transcendent match. I've used transcendent twice in this podcast today. Shall I go for 3? Stay tuned to find out. And a match that broke borders into people who never watch Joshi, who not particularly interested, had a clear-cut match of the year in a 43-minute draw, right, at Oda Ward. And to a point that everyone was ecstatic for their eventual rematch, and it was going to be one of the biggest in Stardom history. They did face off in this year's Grand Prix, which is essentially the G1 in Stardom. But that went to a draw, if memory serves me right. JPQ, if you're here, you can maybe confirm. And you know, people were like, oh, wasn't that great? But I think that they were just they weren't giving us the match until it was time for the match. And it was time for the match, because that's what we got. They started striking so early on each other, and the power moves came fast, really, really quickly, because you got Utami, you got Shuri doing guillotine leg drops on the apron. You've got Utami bossman slamming Shuri on the floor. Utami wants to get rid of Shuri quickly. That's the story here. But then quickly you realize, like, she's not messing around either. She does a Hurricane Rana off the apron. So neither woman here is looking to go for the time limit. They want to finish the other one off as fast as possible. They're trading release Germans on each other, and brutally just laying into each other. Shuri with big open palm strikes. Utami hits an air raid crash off the apron. And Shuri's legs went fucking bonkers on the side of the apron. It was crazy. Shuri does my favorite spot. Shuri does this Kimura on the top rope. She does a Kimura takedown of Utami off the top rope and transitions into a stretch muffler, which Utami struggles to get out of. Just a fantastic spot. Got shivers still thinking about it. Shuri tries a figure 4, can't put Utami away. There's more strikes, there's more violence. Shuri starts getting some hamstring kicks in, figure 4, kicking the hamstrings. Oh, she's working the legs. Utami goes for the BT bomb, which is, I guess you'd call it a sit-out crucifix power bomb. How about that? But she collapses under the weight of the move because her legs. Because Utami's been working the legs. And not Utami, Shuri's been working the legs. So she can't get the pin on time. So the match is still going. Shuri does this ripcord kick, running lariat by Utami. They both fall. No one's staying down. They're trying, but no one is staying down. There's another BT bomb by Utami, but it's countered into an STO, and that's the end of the match. This is where the disaster happens. Shuri then hits an Emerald Flosion, and she gets the win with a one-winged angel side slam. Like, she has Utami in the electric chair position, and she brings her down, kind of like what what's his face does, but instead of driving her between her legs in a sit-down position, she side slams her. Gets the win. Utami's dead. Shuri is your new World of Stardom champion. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic match. And I tweeted out, once this was done, I was like, Shout out to everyone who's already compiled and released their match of the year lists. Anyway, those who care about, stuff other than maybe just WWE, maybe. Because it was incredible. One of the best matches I've seen this year. Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely 100%. Go watch this match. Unquestionably. If you want to spill the bucks for the entire pay-per-view, it's what, like $40 US, something like that, or $40 Canadian? I don't remember. I just spent the money. Look, Big Bucks Hayes here. Yeah, there you go. I don't know how much I spend. I just spend. I just don't remember. I just don't remember what if you want to splurge for the whole pay-per-view, the rewatch, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. It's one of the best top to bottom pay-per-views you're going to watch this year. No doubt. But this match is a must. You know what? I would even go as far as to say both of the top matches here. The Wonder of Stardom Championship, Saya Kamitani versus Tam Nakano, and Utami Hayashishita versus Shiri. They're both must-see matches in both cases. It's fantastic stuff. Yes, that's right. That's me, Big Bucks Hayes, manager of the HFO. The Hayes, not Hardy. Hardy, Matt who? Want to say hello to the world-renowned historian. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Good show. Fantastic show. Please go check it out. Hey, did you leave a like on this video? Have you already? Because I'd appreciate it if you did. Because it helps me out on YouTube a lot. Do you want to subscribe? I can keep working for your subscription. Don't get me wrong. I like to think that I work for your subscriptions and that I made you that I deserve. Hang on. What am I trying to say? I like to think that I work for your subscription. I'm not just begging for them and that you give me the subscription because you feel like I'm worth it. That's what I'm trying to say. So hopefully, I'll keep working for it and maybe get it. That'd be great. And also become a member if you want to. And then you join us after the show. We're going to be talking about wrestling New Year's resolutions. Let's go do that. I want to say hello to Mike M. Y'all missed the Toni Storm talk earlier on. Poor Toni. Well, not poor Toni. Well, poor Toni because she was criminally misused. I'm not getting into it again. Let's talk some AEW. As AEW produced some discourse this week, didn't it? Going back to Friday on Rampage, and then last night on Dynamite. I'm feeling good. Let's go back to last Saturday. Last Saturday. Rampage, the Christmas Eve, the Christmas special. So, I don't know if you heard, but Hook had a match last Saturday. Did you hear? And did you hear about the quality of the match? Did you hear about how again Hook pulled off some fantastic moves, showed off his strengths? No, probably not. You probably didn't. Yes, I have to stay hydrated. But no, you probably didn't hear about our boy Hook and the prowess in the match because y'all probably just heard about Hook no selling a move. That's probably all you heard about. Am I wrong? He no-sells a pile driver. And you know what? Here's the thing. He didn't all the way. He didn't no-sell a pile driver in the way that a lot of people would like you to think that he no-sold the pile driver. He didn't like eat the pile driver, then jump right up to his feet. He rolled around and then he rolled back up onto his feet. Now, you may be like, Warren, you're stretching it. Sure. But don't get lost in the discourse. It wasn't like him automatically popping back up to his feet and being like, woo, nothing happened. And you know what? Here's my contribution to the discourse. All right? Here's my I guess people don't like fun. That's all. I think people just don't like fun. I think there's a legitimate subset of wrestling fans who just don't like fun things. Who don't like to cheer, don't like to be surprised, don't like to go, oh! And especially don't like it when other people are enjoying something that they don't like. I think that's the only conceivable reason. And he's wrestling Bear Bronson. Folks, Bear Bronson is a jabroni in AEW lore. Here's something that maybe we're going to try and wrap our minds around a concept that we've talked about before, but let's do it again. I think it's good for a refresher. In AEW, there is a caste system. There are, or as some people like to say, lanes. Let's call them lanes. There are lanes, and you've got your tippy top people. You've got the main eventers. You've got the upper mid card, the mid card, the lower mid card, and then you have the rest, the jabrones. All right, and that it does exist, and it is enforced, and you can see it plain as day in how they book things in AEW. If Hook, who they are positioning at the moment as a lower card guy, which is fine, by the way, you work your way up, that's fine, but he is a lower card guy against Bear Bronson, who, is part of a tag team. He's a tag team guy, first and foremost. Second of all, who appears on Dark and has a losing record. That, to me, is a jabron. So if Hook comes in and tosses a jabron around, I'm like, it's cool. That's fine. That's exactly what he's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be better than the prelim guy, than the curtain jerker, than the jabroni. Plus, on top of that, he's a tag team specialist. Tag team specialists in singles matches should lose their matches, just like two singles guys who are in a tag team against an established tag team should lose, because the established tag team are tag team specialists, professionals. So it all makes perfect sense. That Hook is like, nah, let them get up. Let the people cheer. Let them get excited. God forbid we'd have something exciting that's organic and that the audience can get behind and that the company is ready to get behind. Not that we're not going to live through another fucking Matt Cardona situation. What Zack Ryder situation where he's getting over, but then the company says, bro, you're going to have to dial it back because we're not pushing you. What is it we're supposed to want from wrestling? Get excited about it, right? We're supposed to watch things and be like, Christ, this is fun. And then when the company does, the promotion does what makes you excited, you're supposed to be like, damn, this is fun. You're supposed to feel excited. Why would you go around saying, do so? Enjoy it. God damn it. I don't know what to tell yous. There's nothing wrong with it. And just the fact that I'm sitting here talking about Bear Bronson being an undercard guy, that he should be losing, and he's a singles guy. He's a tag teams guy in a singles match. I'm already overthinking it. Hook is a legitimate indie internet darling. People love him. He gets huge reactions. He comes to the ring. He tosses fools around. People cheer. He's the most organic babyface I've seen be created in a while. Why not lean into that? If he's fucking no-selling fucking John Moxley, let's have another discussion. But he's no-selling an under guy, a jabroni, a guy who isn't even on the fucking roster. My God, people. And no one's talking about that fucking great Hammerlock Northern Lights suplex that he did on Bear Bronson, who is, 120 pounds, 150 pounds heavier? No, they're not going to talk about that sweet side clutch suplex that he did either. No, of course not. Hook should not be throwing a bigger man around. That is unbelievable to me. Fuck off. Sting made a career no-selling Ric Flair's chops. He made a career no-selling Ric Flair's chops. Hulk Hogan made a career having bursts of no-selling energy. Come on. Y'all get hung up on the weirdest shit. And this is internet GIF culture that creates these things. I'm going to have another example for you when we're going to talk about Jade Cargill. We see snippets of things, and then it suddenly becomes like this focus and truth on this is what we're talking about. But you watch the entire Hook match and you're like, this is great. They're building a new star. They're making him look like $1 million, like they should. Instead of debuting a new star and having him lose on his first night out and his second night out and his third night out. Having him lose in his hometown. So many people have lost the plot because of how a certain other company that's been a monopoly on professional wrestling on television for 2 decades has done things. People are suddenly like, but you can't be doing this way. I say, do things differently. Don't do it the same way. Try other things. Make us experience other things. Some of us are craving for new stuff to get behind. Hook is fantastic. Fantastic what they're doing with him. Can he hang for 10, 12, 15 minutes? We'll eventually find out. But what they're doing right now, it's amazing. And I honestly wish that there were more matches like this to build the stars that you want. I wish WWE would have done that with Toni Storm. I wish they would have done that with Liv Morgan. I wish they would have done that with Edge and Miz leading up to their matches. Just have them squash people. It's when you tell stories in the ring that it matters. The talk is anticipation, but that's not where it matters. And I see, and you know what? Here's the final thing. I can absolutely tell. I'm starting to get pretty good at it when I finding out that people haven't been watching wrestling before 2017. Because if anyone had seen Taz wrestle in ECW's heyday, they would have fucking hated the guy. They would have absolutely hated him. Small guy. Small. Taz is short. And he's throwing fools around. His nickname was the Suplex Machine. I don't know what to tell you. Joe Poulain Jr., nice to see you, sir. Welcome to the chat. Didn't think I was going to get that heated about it. But it's like, enjoy the goddamn thing. Just have fun. Have fun, people. Remember that? Remember fun? And here's something. In all this goddamn discourse, and especially in related to the Cody thing after that I'm going to talk about, no one, or I haven't seen anyone sing the praises of Statlander versus Leyla Hirsch on Friday. Because I thought it was a very good television match. Very, very good. Leyla did that great. She does this great pick and roll into a pinning combination, which just blows my mind every time. She always surprises me with it. And it's great. And she's working over the taller Statlander with Jujikatamis, just stretching the hell out of her arm. Statlander does a reverse body slam. And Taz noted it too. He said, geez, I hadn't seen that in a while, and I hadn't seen that in a while either. And she ends the match with the spider crab. Can we mention, have I talked about this before? How great of a finisher the spider crab is for Statlander. Her thing being an alien and getting the finisher that has the weirdest fucking setup in all of wrestling. It just works for her. It's great. Like, this was legitimately a good match. I didn't watch it on the 25th because I was celebrating Christmas with my family, but when I watched it later, I was like, why is nobody talking about this? Oh, because of Hook No Selling and because of Cody. You stupid fucks. This is the discourse that we're having instead of talking about this great women's match that AEW gave us. Two great women that were able to pull out something fantastic out of nowhere, random rampage. And I'm like, give us more. I want more of Leyla and Statlander. I want more of this. And the thing here, and as I was watching this match, I was saying to myself, there is no more reason for AEW to give us subpar women's matches moving forward. They have too much talent that are just able to pull out great matches at any given moment. These two, Rosa, Soho, Britt, Hayter, Deeb, Sheeta, I'm forgetting people, I'm sure, but these are all extraordinarily talented women that should be that should be giving us just great match after great match consistently. And these are the women that AEW should be focusing on instead of others. But this is it. I was looking at this rules. And there were no real stakes to it outside of the fact that they were talking about, well, you know, this may have title implications because the ratings reset at the new year, except for the top 5. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So if someone breaks into the top 5, then their position is saved for the new year. That's cool. So it did give a little stake. Now they're adding some personal stakes where Leyla Hirsch is like, I'm not shaking your hand, Statlander. Fuck you. Or whatever you say in Russian. How do you say fuck you in Russian? Hey, Google, how do you say fuck you in Russian? Raise volume to 9. No, I didn't ask you to translate raise volume to 9. That's not what I asked it. Hang on. No, stop. Google, cancel. We'll figure this out. Stop Google.
All right. If you ever want to use this again, just say, be my Russian interpreter.
Oh, okay. Hey, Google, raise volume to 8. There we go. Hey, Google, how do you say fuck you in Russian?
In Russian, that's specialty. What else should I translate?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, I'll stop translating.
Appreciate it. So I'm gonna develop a feud with my Google with my Google account. So that's probably what Leyla said. What that was too long a bit for what it was worth. Anyway. What are we talking about? Okay, so yeah. I mean, listen, there's no reason for AEW to not be putting on great women's matches anymore. There really isn't. And I honestly hope they pick up Toni Storm. I really do. I really hope they pick up Toni Storm. Cody Rhodes is a three-time TNT champion, defeating Samuel Guevara to reclaim the title. I like this match. Sammy fought this match with urgency, and you got to appreciate that. I don't like title matches that don't feel important, and Sammy made this match feel important to him. He straight off the gate went straight for Cody, hitting power moves and the Dustin flat back punch. Great stuff, just completely warbled old Cody. He had to hit the bricks and to recenter himself, refind his chi, I guess. Sammy was in control until Cody decided working the arm on the floor. Sammy hits a crossroads and a huge 450. Springboard 450 on top of that to the floor. He hits a crossroads and I just said that. Cody power bombs them onto some plants in the audience in the front row. And I'm not like the vegetables, like actual like people pretending to be audience members is what I mean. A first crossroads by Cody doesn't put him away. A GTH by Sammy doesn't put Cody away. But a pair of crossroads and a Tiger Driver 98 by your boy Cody does the trick. I mean, here's the thing. Look, okay, I'm trying to collect my two talking, because there's really two talking points here. And the first one is, I don't think there's a better time to put the TNT title on Cody than it is right now. I really believe that this is an ideal moment to do it, because right now Cody is despised. He's loathed. People don't like him. And regardless of people, we still love you, Cody. No, you don't. No, you don't. The voices are very, very clear and loud. Cody gets booed, and they're leaning into it. And I appreciate it. And I think that's what they should. Look, here, what is the opposite thing you should be doing? No, I'm a babyface. You're going to love me. That works really well in another wrestling company that we all know about, right? It doesn't bother me, and I think it's great. And the fact that the thing here is that Cody is a fan-made heel. He got the people to turn on him, despite the fact that he probably didn't want. And I will still go to that one promo that he did, the one where he talks about his multiracial baby and whatnot, From that point on, I think a lot of people flipped on him and was like, this guy's full of it. He's not on our side, and he never was on our side. And he never was Dusty. He never wanted to be Dusty. Dusty came out in fucking overalls and t-shirts and flannel shirts and jeans, and Cody was an everyman. Not Cody, but Dusty was an everyman. Cody wears suits and expensive shoes. He's perfectly well groomed. He's handsome. He looks like $1 million. He's got a chiseled jaw. Dusty is the complete opposite. Cody was never meant to be, the next coming of the Rhodes of Dusty. He always played above us. He's always been above the fan. He's not relatable, and he's not supposed to be relatable. He doesn't want to be relatable. Brandi's not relatable. No one in the Rhodes character world is in the Codyverse is relatable, and that's fine. And they're leaning into it, and they're like, okay, let's do it. The promo that he put out on social media earlier this week, where he's talking about how he's rich, he's got NFL player money on a wrestler salary, and he buries his mother for telling him that he should have never left WWE. Like, just great stuff. I love it. I absolutely love it. Fine by me. And if you've even remotely listened to this podcast in the past, you know that I think that Cody Rhodes gets a very, very bad rep from online fans. It's all about Cody. It's not all about Cody. Cody has made more stars in this company. He has given jobs to people off of matches that he had with them. Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, just off the top of my head. He made Darby Allin. Not gonna come. He made Brody Lee into the Brody Lee we remember him as. Just it boggles my mind. So Cody's like, fine, you want to hate me? You want to hate me? LFG. And I respect that. I respect that in the context of a professional wrestling setup where you're supposed to listen to the fans. You're supposed to readjust things as you go along. And AEW continues to have a good track record with that. Hangman Page, his first babyface run wasn't working out. Pivot, let's try something else. Made him into a star. Nightmare Collective was shit. Hit the bricks. The Dark Order version 1.0. Remember that? The first Dark Order with the fucking goobers and the chair and all that. That didn't work. Let's retool it. Cody. No one wants a ambiguous babyface Cody. I'm down with that. It works. Now the other talking point in regards to this is the Sammy Guevara championship run here, which I think is the biggest casualty. Is the biggest casualty of this of this thing here of Cody taking the title off of him at this stage, because I don't think Sammy had that great a run. He defeating Miro, big deal, but I feel they never really capitalized on it. Bobby Fish, like out the gate, like immediately as Bobby Fish comes in without any all right. Ethan Page, I thought it was I remember the match. I thought it was good, but I feel that this was program worthy. They could have done something with that. Then he defeated Jay Lethal. He defeated Tony Nese. Like no one where you can say big win for Sammy as champion. Plus, as he was champion, he was embroiled in this fucking Inner Circle American Top Team shit, which completely eclipsed him. It's still one of my... it was on my naughty list last week. Well, most of Chris Jericho's angles this year were on my naughty list. You can watch that later if you want. Not right now, because I'm, doing this live. But you can watch it later or listen to it later. But Sammy was lost in this shuffle here, like everyone else in this angle, outside of Chris Jericho and Dan Lambert, who are the only two people who rose to the occasion. And I still don't think Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page are winning with this association. I really don't. And it's a shame because Sammy's fantastic. And I think that with all the talk about, the pillars of AEW and blah, 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 all that shit, I think he absolutely 100% needs to be, should have been treated with a better title run than what he got. I really do. Right now, well, let's see. Let me go see the TNT. Let me just pull down the list here, because this is unexpected. Because so Cody 3 times. Cody's had, like I said, like Cody as a TNT champion was fantastic. I think he, the especially his first run when he was doing the weekly challenge, bringing in independent workers, to do the stuff, like we said, Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, Warhorse. Let's not forget that. you know, it was a good dynamic run. I liked it. Brody Lee, you know, that was the moment that made him, right? He defeated Dustin and Orange Cassidy. Like, those are some big fucking names in the company. Darby had a good run. Miro defeated so many people. He had 8 successful defenses, including Eddie Kingston, Lance Archer. Maybe not the most fantastic rogues gallery of opponents, but lots of defenses. Of course, the Fuego defenses, Brian Pillman Jr. I really think Sammy's TNT title run is the most underwhelming of the TNT champions at that point, to this point. I really do. It's a shame. He's supposed to be one of these infamous 4 pillars, right? Which is something I'm kind of sick of hearing about. Between you and I, the 4 pillars. All right. You made your ugly ass t-shirt. Be sold on Pro Wrestling Tees. Oi, Pluggo. Welcome to the chat, man. Let's talk about Dynamite last night. First and foremost, good to see Jim Ross back in the saddle, finished his treatments. I hope it staves away whatever was after. Well, we know it's cancer, but you know, I hope it staves it off. I hope he's good. Glad to see him back in the saddle so soon. Fantastic. Good on him. Congratulations. Glad. I really hope he did beat it. I really do. Let's go through some talking points. The stuff that I really want to talk about. Well, first of all, the main event, the 6-man tag match between Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly versus the best friends, Chuck Taylor, Trent Barretta, and Orange Cassidy. I thought this was a very fun main event. I thought it was. I thought it was. I thought it was good. I thought well worked throughout. Good stuff. Not lost in chaos. You know. Instead, it provided a showcase, right? Specifically for Red Dragon, who have their own entrance, and there is actually a Red Dragon. There is actually on the what did we call it? The Tonytron. Is that what I baptized? I forget what I christened it last week. It's not a Titantron in AEW. Was it the Tonytron or the Contron? Okay, we're gonna settle this. Chat, you're gonna finish this up. I'm gonna pull up a poll. Live chat is gonna decide this. What should the big screen in AEW be called? The Tonytron or the Contron? All right, chat, you're going to settle this. Oh, and hello there, Kristen Ashley, the first lady of the MrWarrenHayes show. Yeah. Kristen is going to be on a live radio station in a few minutes to talk about Stardom. Isn't that great? Live. Y'all remember radio? Thank you for dropping in, darling. So we're gonna let the poll run. And no, we're not calling it the Elitetron. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue. Elitetron. Leave your branding to me. Leave the branding to me. So what was I talking about? A Red Dragon. It doesn't even matter. So this was a showcase basically for the Red Dragon boys, essentially to show us that they're back in the mix and so on and so forth. Now the interesting thing here, earlier in the evening, for all of you who were worried that Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly had kissed and made up, they didn't. They haven't. You know, they're still doing the thing. Again, AEW's lore is the lore of wrestling, and they prove it here. Because they had a little confrontation earlier on, just, you know, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. And Kyle O'Reilly was like, you know, brother, you know, I know things are still messed up between us, but factions are how you survive here in AEW, or something like that. Like, it was a little corny, not gonna lie. But still, that's the thing. Like, Kyle O'Reilly comes in and he's like, look, I need friends. This is how it works here. We need friends. And the three of us were super friends. That's not what he said, but that's what he should have said. So this bled into this match here because he's like, Adam Cole, do you have my back? And during the match, Kyle O'Reilly accidentally kicks Adam Cole in the jaw off of the apron, and it's an accident. But of course, this is how conflicts begin in wrestling, right? No, it was an accident. Are you sure? I'm not sure. No, brother, we could talk it out, and I can tell you that, you know, it's that kind of stuff. So we get to the point where the match is about to there's what's his name, the dweeb, Cutler, Brandon Cutler. He runs to the ring. And he starts, you know, causing a distraction for Trent and Chucky T, which then allows the Young Bucks, who seem to be a little miffed at the presence of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, come in and they super kick the Best Friends to allow Kyle O'Reilly and Fish to get the win, and then they console Adam Cole, they being the Young Bucks, and they're like, look, we did that. We went and we super kicked because your boys are, you know. So, and Adam Cole walks away with the Young Bucks, and he's like, I don't know, man, I don't know. So, we're getting Adam Cole in a love triangle between Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. I fucking love it. Now, to all you dopes out there saying that Adam Cole is a bust in AEW, right? Because you know there are people out there who are saying that Adam Cole's AEW stint is a failure. Let me present unto ye Adam Cole being treated as a prize in AEW. Right now, the Young Bucks and Red Dragon will be vying for Adam Cole's affections. Who, you know, he's a prize to be won. And there you go. Case closed. Cole on a pole. Custody of Adam Cole. Cole on a pole. It's funny. Anyway, I nice little wrinkle. But you know what I hope? This is what I'm crossing my finger. I don't want the Young Bucks to turn babyface. I like the Young Bucks. I love the Young Bucks heel work. I think these guys are natural heels. Please, 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 please let them stay as heels. Have you voted yet? Should we call it a Contron or a Tonytron? Let's keep it open for a couple of minutes more and then I'll shut it down. I want to say hello to Kyle Ierson. Kyle, how are you? And thank you. Happy New Year to you too. The AEW TBS title tournament semifinals happened with Jade Cargill defeating Thunder Rosa. Can we be honest with each other? I think we can. Why not? This was not great. It was not great. And it's a shame because I saw Thunder Rosa working as hard as she could to get something going here. Working the leg, that was a great story. Makes sense. You take the base out of the big powerhouse and it all makes sense. It's a wrestling story as old as time, but it's good. It's fine. I'm okay with it. It's logical. It's good psychology. It makes sense. They had this whole really weird sequence outside on the floor But it was just like on one side of the ring, it felt a little off. I feel like I have to reiterate this every time. Like I have to preface this every time before I talk about Jade. I like Jade Cargill. I think she has the look. She has the natural charisma. She has that energy that will make her a star in AEW. That I have no doubt about that. No doubt at all, man. But what they want, and this is what I've been saying for so long at this point, is that what they want her to be at this point in her wrestling career is not it. It's not it. They had her go 10 plus minutes with Red Velvet a couple of weeks ago. Red Velvet, a wrestler who has proven to have good chemistry with Jade, to be able to play to Jade's strengths. They work very well together, both of them. They really do. They went 10 plus minutes and it dragged, man. She's not ready for what they want her to be at this point. And she's a good project. I think she's interesting, but they want her to be like this star that they can clasp onto. And while she's got, look, charisma can take you a long way in wrestling. Don't get me wrong. It's something I believe in. You know, there's wrestlers whose entire careers were 100% built on that, right? But she's just not ready for that spot. She's got, and here's the thing: is then after you'll see the GIF of her doing that bicycle kick that she does, which is phenomenal. And I've talked about this before. She should own that bicycle kick. She should call it the bitch-sickle kick. She really should. It should be her thing, like a transitional, like Kenny Omega has V-triggers, right? Jade Cargill has bitch-cycle kicks. If I can pronounce it, it'll be fine. She should 100% own it because they're fantastic. So you see that and everyone freaks out and they go, whoa, that's amazing. It's a reverse Hook situation, right? Where Hook, you see the one thing that gets everyone angry, and here you have the one thing that makes everyone pop. But to get a proper match, you gotta be able to string some moves together. You gotta be able to tell a story. You gotta be able to make your fight look like a fight. And this wasn't it. And I called it. She defeated Thunder Rosa. My brackets for the tournament so far have been 100%. I'm batting 1,000 at this point. No sweat. And I'm telling you, they're putting the strap on Jade. If I were the booker, if I had been booking this, and my original plan is that I penciled in Jade to win. If that was my original plan, I would have, off of the Red Velvet Jade match from a couple of weeks ago, I would have changed the outcome. I would have been like, look, I would have had to sit down with Jade and like, look, we'll get you to the finals, or we'll get you the semifinals, but look, honestly, there's still work to be done. We'll get there, but just not right now. We're change of plans. And that's fine. And AEW has done that in the past. Because I still think she's winning. And maybe Ruby Soho will win next week, but if I look at the booking pattern and I look how they've been setting this up, Jade winning her matches, and in the meantime, the weeks that she's not competing in the tournament, they've been having her either on Dynamite or on Rampage, they've been having her have squash matches. And that's the indicator to me that they are establishing this woman as a force to be reckoned with, as a complete animal, a beast that will destroy anything and anyone, so that when you do get to the title, to the finals, and she's against Ruby Soho, you're like, well, you know, Jade is an immovable force. She could crush Ruby in a. That's what the booking tells me. That they're setting her up. They haven't been giving Ruby Soho squash matches in the meantime. They haven't been giving Thunder Rosa squash matches in the meantime. But they have for Jade. They like Jade. They want Jade. They want the Jade experiment to work. They want to push her as a star. I'm telling you. A lot of people are like, Ruby's going to win. I'm not so sure. I am not convinced. I am still sticking with Jade Cargill as the winner of the TBS title tournament. They like her too much. They really do. They really like her too much. Well, not too much. There's a lot. Sorry. They like her a lot and it shows is what I'm trying to say. Because there's a lot to like about Jade. But her in-ring work isn't quite there yet. And in a company where your work rate does come across on television because you've got fantastic work rate people in your company, it's a weird decision. But now let's get to the really exciting part. Mercedes Martinez runs in to beat the shit out of Thunder Rosa. Mercedes Martinez is in AEW, and your boy could not be happier. She even got the fucking graphic off of Tony Khan's Twitter account. Mercedes Martinez signed to AEW. I popped. Are you kidding me? I jumped out of my chair. Kristen Ashley can attest to this. Huge. This should come as no surprise to anyone who listens to the show. I am a huge Mercedes Martinez fan. Huge. Having had the opportunity to interview her a couple of months ago was a bucket list moment for your boy, and she was so gracious and talked to me for 50 minutes. My mother doesn't even talk to me for 15 minutes. She talked to me for 55 plus minutes. And on top, like a legend, a woman who has broken down barriers, who was wrestling, who was doing women's wrestling when on television they were having women strip down to their bra and panties and fight in fucking mud and do diva searches and all that bullshit. A true to form trailblazer, a woman who knows her way around the business, and you've got someone else in that backstage area who is there to train, accompany, whatever you want to call it, push forward, produce, work with the women's division to make them even more kick-ass than they were, or that they're becoming. This is what I was saying earlier when the women's division has momentum, has tons of momentum now. If they were to pick up Toni Storm, you'd have such a wonderful solar system of planetoid women of great wrestling ability. That analogy started off really, really nice in my head, and it just turned to shit. I don't know. But they were... Listen. You've got Emi Sakura. You've got Serena Deeb. Deeb even confirmed earlier, was it this week or whatever, that she works as a producer. On training women. So that's dope. Emi has been training women for 2 decades at this point. You add Mercedes in there. Plus you've got Dustin. Plus you've got Bobby Fish. It's amazing. I was so happy for her to be in a place that won't overthink, how can we get Mercedes Martinez over? Maybe if we make her put on retribution mask and call her Reckoning or whatever the fuck she was supposed to be called. In the interview, by the way, youtube.com/belltobells. The interview is there. Go check it out because it's a really solid interview. And she spills the beans on why she wasn't, she talks about on why she wasn't signed with AEW after All Out 2019. But we talk about the mask, the Retribution stuff, and she was very upfront about it. And she says, you know, they come to me and they say, this is your gimmick. This is what you're going to be doing, right? This is what they're going to be doing. And here's your mask. And she says, I can't wrestle with a mask. I have asthma. I cannot wrestle with a mask. I can wear a mask to the ring, but you cannot make me wrestle with a mask. They don't even go and they're like, no, here's your mask. She's like, I can't wrestle with this shit. That's not what she said. She's a much classier act than I. Mercedes is great. And I'm so happy. That really made my week. And I don't remember who we were talking about this, but I think this is the feud that will eventually lead Thunder Rosa to Britt. But this is going to be the buffer feud, because I think they're going to save Britt and Rosa for Double or Nothing. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I think in the meantime, a feud with Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez. Are you fucking kidding me? This is... Bring it on. Other stuff that happened on Dynamite, the Wardlow squashes continue. You see when you want to build a star, and you do squash matches, you do something fun, he power bombs people multiple times. Look, everyone's excited for the Wardlow turn. Everyone's excited for it. We know it's happening. It's plain as day. We're just excited for it at this point. Booking wrestling is not easy, but it can be. You can overthink it. You absolutely 100% can. And you know the eventual match is going to happen with Wardlow and Spears, right? Sean Spears. You know that's going to happen. And I really hope Wardlow power bombs him 10 times and he does this. I really hope he does. Awkward promo of the night goes to Brian Pillman Jr. Oh. Like outside of, you know, my personal thoughts on Brian Pillman Jr. and then don't necessarily have anything to do with what he can do in the ring. You know, God bless him for being the son of Brian Pillman, a guy who is universally beloved by everyone backstage. Because he's average in everything. He's not a standout. If that guy's name was Winston Burlap and was coming up on the indies, people would not notice him. They really would not. He's an average wrestler with very average charisma, very average promo skills. Like he's fine. He's okay, you know? And this has nothing to do with the tragedy of that is his family's existence, which is nuts and well documented. I'm sure you've all seen the Dark Side of the Ring thing, but you know, just an awkward promo and an awkward disappearance from Malachi Black. There's a zoom. And then the lights come back on and he's walking up the tunnel. Like, okay. All right. Do I have to talk about the Dan Lambert promo? Do I have to? I think look. I am on the side of people that enjoy Dan Lambert's work. I think he's entertaining. I love the things he says. He's literally the AEW hater on the internet. You know, he really, really is. Um, he says Cody never made it in the business until he became the pet project of Tony Khan. That relationship helped Cody skip the line to title shots. I fucking love it. It says AEW fans are idiots. Then he does a stripper reference talking about Brandi, talking about his wife, and Brandi should do her stripper name or something like that. So then Brandi gets pissed off and she comes out. That's fine. She argues with him, calls him a poor man's Paul Heyman or something like that. Discount dollar store Paul Heyman. He says, I prefer Jim Cornette. And folks, what have I been saying for weeks upon weeks upon weeks? Tell me I've been wrong. Because I'm not wrong anymore. I've been telling you week after week after week. Dan Lambert is Jim Cornette. Dan Lambert is Jim Cornette. That he's a surrogate for Jim Cornette. Just as simple as that. And he says it. He says it himself. I prefer Jim Cornette. It's not that hard to figure out. That's what he's supposed to be doing. So he's being disgusting. He's being sexist. That's his thing. Brandi comes out and she cuts her own promo. Yeah. The black belt thing. I'm not going to repeat it. It makes me uncomfortable as a white middle-aged man to talk about it. I'm not going to lie. And they tease a fight. Dustin comes in to break it all up. Look, this is what I will speak on. I think that if Lambert had just said the one line about stripping, you've been like, there he goes again. Old man, set in his ways, degrades women, fuck him. But I think he went in too hard when he brought it back, and I'm like, okay, this is cringe. Now it's cringe, and it's not cool. And because honestly, I don't think it's cool to degrade sex workers in any way. And the thing is that in my experience, right, people who speak ill of sex workers are oftentimes people who call upon the work of such professionals in one capacity or another, whether it be a visit to a gentleman's club or just dropping their credit card information on a website that provides that type of stuff. That's all. So, to a degree, I'm like, I get it. And it resonates and it works because as an AEW fan, you should not stand for Dan Lambert and what he's saying. He's shitting on the product you love. And on top of that, he's regressive. He's old man set in his ways and he should hit the bricks. But I think they're better off like using these lines with care as opposed to just driving and pushing them, because I think it went too far and then it sort of leaves a bad taste in your mouth and you're like, the shot at Brandi is okay, whatever, it's all right. You stupid old white dude, because that's ultimately what it is. That's ultimately what Dan Lambert is. I don't know. And as far as Brandi goes, like, Brandi always worked best as part of the Cody Brandi act. The Ring of Honor, the New Japan stuff. That was great. I don't know what they're trying to do with her exactly. I don't quite get it. Anakin JMT left us a couple of super chats. Thank you very much, Anakin. He says, why are all his promos, his being Dan Lambert's, degrading to women mid? Yeah, well, let's not forget. First of all, not all his promos to begin with. Let's not forget that it was Chris Jericho who went really hard on Paige Van Zandt. You know. And here I am sticking up for Dan Lambert. Like I enjoy his work because he really is every Twitter troll, every Jim Cornette episode that shits on AEW, that's what he does. That's who he is, and that's he's supposed to. And I think that would be enough. And I think we could shy away from that, but the thing is that he's also portraying himself as a guy who likes old school wrestling. He likes things like they were in the past. So he's using these old-timey references. Like, I understand what they're doing. I think it's going, like I said, I think last night left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because I think it went a little too hard, a little too strong. And I don't like shaming sex workers. I don't. And I think it went into that territory last night. I think one reference, we're good. It's a little edgy. You're like, son of a bitch. You're not supposed to like Dan Lambert, by the way. I like him because I think he's a good heel. Now, again, I'm still going to bring this up. How is this benefiting Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky? That is still the outstanding question in this whole thing. As much as I like Dan Lambert's work, I still don't see the payoff, how this is benefiting Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and his tits. Anakin also left us another super chat. Thank you very much. He says, I feel like Ruby or Jade could win next week. Sure, it's a perfectly logical toss-up. I really feel like the way they've been booking this, Jade is the woman they want to strap the title to. That's my thought. Also, Rosa's X23 gear, greater than Gargano's Wolverine. That gear is the one thing that could put Wolverine better than Cyclops. Wolverine is already better than Cyclops. And this is the weirdest debate. It's like saying, I don't know, Venom is better than Captain Marvel. No, that's stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is like saying chicken is better than turkey. Like, close, but no. Turkey is absolutely better than your run-of-the-mill chicken. You're talking poultry with me? Turkey all the way. Cyclops is not better than Wolverine. But and thank you for the super chats, by the way, Anakin. And on top of that, it's much better than Brian Cage's Weapon X gear that he pulled out at an Impact pay-per-view last year before he jumped. I think it's the night he dropped the title. No, we're talking regular turkey. We're talking regular turkey, cooked. And because I think when you get down to cold cuts like sliced turkey, sliced chicken, there's not much of a difference. I think there's a little bit in the texture, but I don't think there's a cut and dry difference in experience. Like, I don't think but you're like, Warren. And I'm like, yes. Hang on, let's do this again. Warren. Yes. I am ready to cook poultry for you tonight. Do you like a chicken or a turkey? It is your choice. I will always pick turkey. Every time. And then, but Warren, it is much more work. Then don't offer me the choice. That's the weekly wrestling inspection. Oh, what a fun time we had tonight. And Anakin JMT left us a super chat just to wrap this one up. Thank you very much. He says, you think that's a weird debate? Wait until you go back into the Discord. Jesus Christ. Join the Discord. Come and join in these weird debates. I'm more or less stoked. No, I'm excited to see. There's all sorts of nonsense. We talk about wrestling, but there's all sorts of junk that's discussed. But seriously, come join the Discord this Sunday. We're watching Match of the Year candidates. From, I think, 2 p.m. moving forward Eastern, 1 Central, something like that. Or 3, I don't quite remember off the top of my head, but we're starting Sunday afternoon, right into the evening. Come and watch some great wrestling with the rest of the crew. A whole bunch of people. It'll be fun. Join the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord right now. And let's settle it. It was settled in the poll. What should we call the big screen in AEW? 62% of you voted to call it the Contron, and I think that's the best, that as opposed to the Tonytron. I think the Contron is the best, is indeed the best selection here. I'm all for it. In the meantime, we're done. I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. Thank you everyone for joining me this year. Again, and a fantastic year for the Mr. Warren Hayes show. And mostly in part, all to you, your support, coming in, joining me live, watching on demand, listening on podcast. God damn, like, it's so incredibly humbling year after year. I appreciate it. You make doing this special. So, otherwise I'm just talking at the wall. I'm blessed. I really am blessed. And I hope we continue to have a good time all together on Thursday nights, all throughout 2022. Have a wonderful new year. Have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Please be safe. Be responsible. I want to see you all back here next Thursday. In the meantime, folks, thank you all for joining me. And we'll see you next time.